I don't work here. I'm here for my lunch. Let go of me, or I'm calling the police. Okay, so 2 years ago I worked at my local mall's Poundland, basically the British version of the dollar store. It was 3 days before Christmas, and if you've ever worked retail you know what a nightmare that is. In the mall there is this cute little cafe which I sometimes like to get my lunch at. It's a bit on the pricey side, so it's a rare treat for myself. I was dressed in my shop's uniform, which was black dress trousers, a black polo, black leather dress shoes and a name tag with hair tied up if long. It very closely resembles the cafe's uniform except for the fact my name tag clearly says Poundland on it, and they wear shirts not polos. The times I've been there for lunch before I have sometimes been mistaken for staff, but people are generally very good about it when I explain, but this day that was not the case. On this day the cafe was of course quite busy. I mean the Christmas rush are as eager to eat as I am. I get to table and sit down waiting for my order when I feel a woman tapping my shoulder quite roughly. I actually ended up with a bruise from this, as I bruise easily. Do you really think you should be taking up a table when people are waiting to be served? I explained to her that I'm on my lunch break and don't actually work here but in the shop across the mall. Of course she doesn't believe me and insisted I'm lying. I point to my name tag and then ask that she leaves me alone. This, it seems, was the wrong thing to do, as she then drags me out of my seat by my arm. Now I'm a tiny girl. I'm 5 feet 2 if I'm lucky, so moving me was easy for her, and she begins to scream for a manager while dragging me from my seat. By now everyone is staring at us and I tell her I don't work here. I'm here for my lunch. Let go of me, or I'm calling the police. At this time the manager runs over and shouts at her to let go of me. She begins to scream about how the servers here are lazy and how I was taking up a table that should go to a customer, and he just looks at me. Then he tells her I am a customer and do not work for his cafe. In the end mall security threw her out and I was asked if I wanted to press charges. By this I mean I was asked if I wanted to get police involved at all. There were no police there as mall security dealt with the issue. I didn't, as I didn't think it worth the hassle. As an apology I got free lunch that day from the cafe, so thanks for the free lunch, crazy woman who can't read a name tag.
I've had enough. I quit. My son was in his 20s when he picked me up one Saturday morning wearing a blue polo and khaki pants. We were heading to a big woodworking show, but I wanted to stop at Best Buy on the way for a USB drive. I went to find a USB drive while he was looking at the game consoles. He was playing one when I found him and I watched for a bit. A manager showed with kind of an attitude. "Manager, you've been here long enough. Don't you have anything better to do, son?" Loudly. "That's it. I've had enough of this micromanagement." I quit. And out we went.
Don't be a racist bitch, and don't assume I work here. You would be totally lost if I don't give you some context. I am Filipino but surely don't look like it. I look more Korean than Filipino. I was wearing a white blouse and leggings for a special event and was dining with my family. Apparently at the dinner place this is the uniform for the hostess. I should also mention that I just came from school and forgot to take my lanyard off. And the place was a Korean barbecue. The food itself was really good, and I must remind you that I am 12, and I wouldn't think that someone would be so rude to me. I had to go to the bathroom, and as I was walking to the bathroom this white woman walked into the restaurant. She sorta made a whole scene, so I stood in front of the door to the bathroom. She glared at me, so I went in. As I was washing my hands she stomps in the bathroom and just starts yelling at me. "White woman, WW. Are you against white people?" No. "Then why didn't you sit me down when I walked in?" Me, realizing she thought I work there. "Oh, sorry mom, but I don't work here." She lost it and started to scream. "You're a racist Korean who doesn't care for her job. Where the fuck is your manager? I'm getting you fired, you sick racist girl. Why do you think I work here? You are in your uniform and you're the hostess." "Look lady, I am a customer and I am not racist. But you are assuming since I am Asian I work here, so you are racist." "I am getting the manager." She ran out. I sorta shrugged it off a little angry. This place is very humble and my friend was there as well. Her 2-year-old little sister dropped a cup of applesauce they brought from home and offered to help clean it up. As I do, I feel the woman grab my neck collar and bring me to the manager. My mother didn't know what was happening and followed trying to help me. She took me to where the manager was and thank Irene, she was so understandable. The woman went on and on about how racist and untrained I was. The manager just shook her head and asked me my age and said the best line that anyone could come up with. She is 12 years of age, she just came from school, and you're leaving my restaurant, you racist bitch. Eventually the police got involved and I have no further update. If anything else comes up I will keep you notified.
Your skin obviously tells me you work here. So I'm only a 17-year-old kid who is on holiday Rarotonga, and I'm Maori, so I have fairly dark skin. I'm in a clothing shop and I'm browsing various clothes and putting them on my arm to try on in the changing room until a lady comes along and decides to use my arm for the same purpose. Excuse me, do you need something? Yes. These clothes. I want them in a different size. I look at the clothes on my arm and take the ones I chose out and put them on a rail and dropped her clothes on the floor. What the fuck do you think you're doing? I'm not your personal assistant. Please leave me alone. How dare you? How rude can you be? You aren't even in uniform. You are being way too crazy about this. I grabbed my clothes off the rack and go to the changing room and start trying on clothes until a pounding on the door starts. Get out here right now. I have your manager with me. I finish changing and walk out of the changing room. Look at him. He's changing clothes during shift. You should fire him immediately. Ma'am, this boy doesn't work for us. Don't you dare lie to me. Look at him. He obviously belongs here. Wait. You're telling me that you think I work and live here because of my skin? Obviously. Look at you. Now this being said, she seemed to be in her late 20s, so some parents somewhere obviously raised her wrong and was quite fat. More on this detail later. Ma'am, if you don't leave this boy. No, I can help her manager. I read his name on his name tag. My apologies ma'am, but today was my day off and I can't actually help you. Ugh, well since we're here, you can still do your job for me. Sure. Now will that be double or triple extra large? Excuse me? You are a large woman, maybe triple extra. How dare you? Are you going to let him speak to me like this? You're right, kid. You're fired. Oh no. I guess I can do this. I walked over to the counter and grabbed a bottle of water from the retail fridge and then opened it, took a sip and then squeezed the bottle of water at her. I am never coming back to this place. So yeah. I was racially insulted because I had darker skin and just had to work at the clothing store. Honestly, the nerve of some people.
We work as a team here. I used to work for Cube Smart Self-Storage. Our uniform was black pants or khakis and one of the company polos. One of the color options was red, so you can imagine how many times I got confused for an employee while shopping at Target before or after work. It happened so often that it became a running joke. Well, one morning I needed to pick up some cleaning supplies for my office, so I stopped at Target right around the time they opened. If you've ever been early in the morning, you know that the employees are everywhere stocking shelves. I picked up some supplies, including glass cleaner. Then I realized that I had left my company credit card at my office. Not wanting to be that person, I put everything back where I had gotten it. I was putting the last item up when this older woman who was stocking the shelves asked if I could put something on the top shelf. I'm tall, so this kind of crap happens a lot. I kind of rolled my eyes but helped her out. It wasn't until she said, if you're all caught up, you could help put this stuff up, that I realized she thought I was a co-worker. I responded, that's not my job, and before I could point out the Cube Smart logo on my shirt, she went on a full-fledged tangent about how she was sick of management hiring lazy millennials, and nearly screamed, we work as a team around here. I just stared at her for a second and said, that's cool lady, but I'm not part of your team, and finally pointed to my company logo. She immediately went into damage control mode, apologizing profusely. I think she was afraid that I would complain to a manager. I didn't. I just said, I hope things get better around here. Have a nice day, and left. That was the last time I wore my red work shirt into Target.
Get back to work, even though this isn't your job. So backstory, I used to work at a Michael's craft store, and at that Michael's you wore aprons red with an M on it, and the local Starbucks changed their aprons from green to red. So I was on lunch break. I went to Starbucks since I was thirsty. Q head employee. I see head employee livid. I didn't think much of it until they come to my table. Excuse me? What are you doing not working? I don't work here. Lie, why are you wearing our apron? Trying to deflate the conversation, I show head employee my badge, the M badge. I work at the Michaels that's on the other side of the Target. Those are lies. Get your ass off that chair before I get the manager to fire you. Then my phone beeps. My close friend who still works at that Michaels says that 2 minutes remain from my break and that I should start heading back. As I get up, head employee grabs the back of my apron and pulls me back. Where the fuck do you think you're going? An employee hears what's going on and comes to see what's going on. He won't go back to work. The employee stutters me and then says, he doesn't work here. He has the Michaels badge. So you're defending him? The manager comes out. Head employee, control yourself. I saw this young man come in. He does not work here. But manage. Get your stuff and leave head employee. Head employee got fired and my pay for the week was lowered for arriving 25 minutes late. FKU head employee, FKU.